another video. Today we are doing legs and glutes. I told y'all in my last video when we did chest and back that I would tell y'all what my lower body workout was. Again, I'll be more than happy to show y'all anything. Just let me know. But for now, we're just talking about what they are. You can look them up, see what they are doing for yourself. All right, for the first one, we're going to stick to just the legs. We're going to do talking about you have hamstrings and you have the quads, right? Hammies means hamstrings. For people who don't work out, they don't know what I'm talking about. All right, the hammies are in the back of that thigh. The quads are in the front of that thigh. So when you stand up and you see that little definition, that little dip, that's the quad. Now, the way that I don't work my hamstrings too much, I'm going to be honest with y'all, because I don't know, I just don't like none of the exercises. I know I probably should be doing both so I can kind of get it like well-rounded, but I like the way my legs look now. One of my friends, her mom told me I got ham hocks for legs. Like, I love the fact that my thighs are so thick. Like I told y'all before, that's the strongest part of my body. I can kick hard, real hard. So, for the hamstrings, this is what I do. Again, there's plenty more exercises that you could do. If you're doing something totally different, stick to it. I'm just telling you what I do. Okay. The first thing I do is I do leg extension. That is when you sit down straight away, right? Sit just like how you sit in the chair, and they got the two handles on the side. You hold on to it, and you just kicking your leg out like this. Straight and back. Straight and back. Oh, and yes, the braids are still in because they're just in. I didn't take them out. I've been lazy. Life has been lifing. I've been chilling. And I just haven't had time, but I think I'm gonna take them out probably tomorrow because I'm getting them re-braided again in a couple of days. I got a lot of new growth too, so that's a good thing. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yes, so you sit down straight away. I am very happy. I just reached a new personal goal on there, or personal record. Yeah, PR, personal record. Before I was lifting 110, now I'm at 120. So I'm very happy with that. I know that's only 10 more pounds, but I'm super happy about that because I was like, oh, I can't do it. And then my friend was like, yo, go to 115 real quick. No, he was like, go to 120. And I was like, nah, I can't do it. So I was scared. So I did 115 because what you don't want to do is you don't want to ego lift and you don't want to overexert yourself because I'm telling you firsthand, you will hurt yourself. So be careful. So I went ahead and did the 115 and I was like, oh, it don't feel that much because it's really only a 5-pound difference between 110 and 115. So it shouldn't feel that heavy to you. So I was like, you know what, let me try the 120. I did that 120. I was so hyped. I said, stop playing. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're now at 120 on the leg extension. I just hit that 2 days ago. So whenever I do, I'm not one of those lifters that keep track of every single thing that they lift. When I reach a new level or a new number, that's when I write it down. So that's when I'll be like, okay, boom, we hit the 120 on this date so we can kind of monitor it. And then you should try to like progressively get more, right? I think the rule of thumb is they said like you stay on something for like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks maybe, and then you increase the weight by 5 every single time. Now, for people who can't do that, like I said before, if you can't lift 5, an extra 5, do 2.5. Don't hurt yourself. We're not trying to be hurt out here because then you can't lift and it's just like everything you did is kind of a moot point because you won't be able to do it again. You're going to be too sore. You're going to need time to recover, and that's going to it's not going to take away your gains, but it's definitely going to take away your stamina, right? You're going to have to rebuild all of that back up again so that you can get to the level that you was at. Next one, goblet squats. Goblet squats can be done one of two ways. You can put your feet flat on the floor. It's like regular squats, but you would take a dumbbell and you would hold it in your hands and you would hold it upright. So let's say this is the dumbbell, right? We're holding it like this. This is the head part. I'm holding it and you can stand flat on the ground. Your feet should be about maybe like this far apart. Not a wide stance, not a super wide stance. You can do shoulder width if you want, or you could do a little in. I'll tell you in a second how I do them. So feet flat. You're holding the weight like this. It's vertical in front of you. You're keeping it close to your chest and you're just squatting straight down. Straight down. That is what a goblet squat is. That works your quads, right? The way that I do mine, I do elevated goblet squats. So I'll take a circular weight, right? Or if they don't have a circular weight, depending on what type of gym I'm in, I'll take a dumbbell, 2 dumbbells, and I put them on the floor horizontally and my heel is elevated. So my foot looks like this. This is how it looks. Not super high, but you know what I'm saying, a little bit of an elevation, right? If I'm using a round plate, same thing. I put my heel, I got my sneakers on in this particular case because the stuff hurts. So my heel is elevated, the toes are pointed down on the floor, same motion. I'm still holding the weight. I'm going up and down, straight up and down. We're not tilting forward because at this moment, we're not working glutes. We're only working the quads, right? So straight up and down motion, that is called the goblet squat. And I guess you can say the advanced is the elevated goblet squat where you are elevating your heels. Next, we have hack squats. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. When they first introduced this machine in my gym, I was like, oh, I got to try it. I was so hyped. I immediately hated this machine. And when I tell you I hated it, I don't hate a lot of things, right? I hated this machine. I was like, no way. Because I'm going to start off by saying the weight by itself, just with no weights on the machine at all, is, I feel like, I could be wrong, but I remember it saying 140 pounds or 147 pounds, something like that. That's just the machine itself. So if you're doing the hack squat exercise and you have no weight on the bar, that is how much you're lifting by yourself. I don't know if everybody's gym is the same. I'm just simply talking about my gym. Y'all know I go to Planet Fitness. And it was like 140 pounds by itself. So the first time I tried to do it, my knees said, no, thank you. So I had to get like these knee sleeves, and that's what I wear on my knees so that I can go down. Because it's also about foot placement. I may try to put a picture of a hack squat machine in here just so you guys can see what the machine looks like. But basically, you're going to get in the machine and you're going to be standing straight up against it like this, right? Then it has the handles. I mean, some people it has the pads or whatever. It just depends on how your gym is. My gym, we have the pads right here on the shoulders, and then we have the handle here, right? So you're standing up the whole time, but you're going down into a squat, right? And so your feet, there's a plate here that you put your feet on. Your feet can either be up here at the top of the plate. It can be down closer towards your chest. It can be further apart, or it can be close. If it's up high at the top of the plate, you're working more glute. If your foot placement is closer to your chest and tight, like closed in, you're working more of your quads, right? Same thing if you're working more with your legs out. If I'm not mistaken, I never do this way, so I always get confused. If you're working more with your legs spread apart, but still like in the middle of the plate, I believe you're also working, no, on those you're working the inside part of your thigh. That's what you're working. So if your feet are in the middle of that plate, but they're spaced out, you're working the inside thigh, the inner thigh. I don't know what the technical name for that is called, so we're just going to call it the inner thigh. Same thing, if your feet are in the middle of the plate, but they're closer together, you're working, I think you're working the quads as well. Again, I don't do that. My foot placement is always up high on that, simply because my knees can't do it. I cannot do it. Even with the sleeves on, your girl can't do it. So I put the foot placement up high. I might drop it down just a little bit. Just a little bit. But I can't bring it all the way down to my chest because it just hurts. It hurts too much. But the funny thing about it is I can do goblet squats, I can do regular squats, and it doesn't bother my knees. So it's just what it is. So if you have knees like mine, like I can still dance, I can still do what I do, but it's just like for some reason on that machine, because it works so much more of your legs, right? Regular squats, if you're doing regular squats on a Smith machine, I feel like you're using your whole body for that. When you're on a hack squat machine, you're not using anything but your legs, right? Just straight legs. So it humbles the out of you. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not ready for that machine, please stay off of it so you won't hurt yourself. And if you do get on it and this is like your first time, don't put no weight on it. Right now, the weight that I'm using, I am currently at, I gotta visualize it, 30 pounds. Yes, because I have 15 on each side. So the machine is already 140. Let's just say round it off to 140. And then I got 15 on each side. So I can do that comfortably. And I've been doing that for about 2 weeks now. So I'm going to start upping the weight a little bit. And then that takes me back into, obviously, regular squats, traditional squats. Now, both of these are good. But from what I've researched, they said that hack squats are better for one specific purpose, and then like regular squats are better for a different purpose. Like, but they do the same thing. They do the same thing. Like you can also turn around and face the machine, the hack squat machine, and you can do what's called good mornings. I don't do good mornings. I've never done a good morning ever, unless I'm waking up and I'm telling somebody good morning. I'm not against that exercise. I just don't do it. But you know, that's when you're standing up straight and you just kind of like you bend over like this. So you're standing straight up, and then you bend over just like this, straight away, like that. That is what a good morning is. But your legs are kind of like spread out. Your legs are kind of spread apart, and you bend over. But I don't know. I don't like that. That's targeted for the glutes, like for the upper glute, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe like the lower glute too. I'm not sure, but I haven't tapped into that yet. So anyway, so then we're gonna move on to calf raises, right? Because we're doing the entire leg, right? Calf raises. Now you can do this so many ways. So many ways. You don't even have to use weight if you don't want to. You could just simply use body weight. And when I say body weight, you could just stand there, hold on to something for balance, right? If your stability is kind of off, and just go up and down, tippy toes, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's a calf raise. You can also use a machine. My gym has 2 different machines. One, you sit in it like this and you put your feet out in front of you, and there's a plate, and you just kind of like this, and it flexes your calf muscle. On that machine, I can lift heavy. On that machine, I'm currently at 140, right? And I do those until failure. I don't even count, but I do 4 sets. So 4 sets until I just can't do it anymore. And I do that at 140. There's another calf machine that they have. I don't particularly like that one too much. You sit in it and it has like this pole that is like in between your legs, and it's a rounded pole up and down, and then you put the weight on it like a circular weight, and then you just push up like this. You push up on that weight. So the bar itself, the weight and everything is resting on your knees, and then you're just kind of like tippy-toe and pressing up. And you're sitting down holding on to the handlebars. I don't like that one because when you're trying to like get out of it, when you're trying to stop the exercise, you got to lift it up so you can lock the bar back in place so that you can get out of it. And it just didn't work out for me. It did not work out for me because I don't remember how much weight I put on there. I don't remember how much weight I put in, but I don't like it. I couldn't get out of it. I don't like it. So I do the other one where we just sit down, and I do that at 140. But like I said, I've also seen people where they'll go to a machine and they'll kind of like stand on the edge of the machine and like do the tippy toes again, up and down. So however you want to do it, you can also use a Smith machine to do calf raises. If you've never known that before, you can. That's mad stability right there. First of all, you set up the Smith machine like you was going to do a squat, right? You put however much weight you could take, put it on your shoulders, and then you just do toe raises up and down, up and down. Because you're only working your calf muscles on that particular one. So that's really easy. If you've ever wanted to do that, to get them calves popping, right? You could do it on a Smith machine. If y'all didn't know, now you know. I don't do it on a Smith machine just because I just don't. Then we have lunges. Now, there are 2 different types of lunges, right? One works one works the other. So forward lunges, when you're lunging forward, that is going to work those quads. That's working them legs, right? When you do reverse lunges, that works. One of my cats is here. When you do reverse lunges, that works the glutes. So you all know what a lunge is. You standing straight, you lunge forward like you about to tear somebody up, right? Lunging forward and you're bending down. You want that leg at a nice 90-degree angle. That's what we're looking for. And then you just pop back up. Boom. You could do it with weights. You could do it no weights, right? I highly suggest trying to do it with a weight. Even if you're doing it with a small weight, start off with 5 pounds. Who cares? 5 pounds in each hand. Boom. Doing it. Forward lunging, right? Alternate your legs. Do the first lunge on the left leg. Do the right leg, left leg, right leg. Alternate. The reason why I'm saying that is so you won't tire yourself out. If you want to sit there and do single leg lunges, that's fine too. Go ahead and do 3 sets of, I don't know, if you're starting out 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 10, right, on that right leg. Then you do another 3 sets of 10 or whatever on the left leg. Same thing. Whatever you want to do. And you want to lunge far enough to where, you're feeling the resistance in your quad. That is the whole point. You don't want to do it too short, like a short lunge, because you're not really going to get that resistance. You're not going to get that pull. You're not going to really stretch that muscle like you're supposed to stretch it, right? So kind of lunge out. Like I said, about to get at somebody. That's how you lunge, okay? And those are just a few. Like I said, there's so many more exercises that you can do for quads and for hammies. It just depends on what it is that you're trying to work. But those are just the ones that I do. Right? I have a simple set. I don't be trying to do 25,000 exercises. And for the record, you don't need 25,000 exercises for anything that you're working. I don't care if you're working chest, back, thighs, glutes, shoulders, whatever. You need a solid, if you want to alternate. If you want to alternate and hit different pinpoints and different muscles or whatever, I would say you need like a solid 5, maybe 6. But that does not mean that you need to do all 5 or all 6 exercises in one day. That is not what I'm saying. You are going to fry yourself. 100% you're going to fry yourself. If you are like me, I work legs and glutes 3 times a week, right? So on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, I'm doing a set of 4 of whatever. I might push 5 depending on my time. Wednesday, some of those are still going to like kind of overlap, but then I'm doing like 3 different exercises. Friday, I'm doing another mixture. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same 6, but I have them in rotation on those 3 days. Or the same 7 maybe in rotation on those 3 days. And I do that so that you don't burn yourself out because I'm telling you, you need recovery. You need recovery. 1, that makes your muscles grow, right? When they're not being necessarily utilized. And then 2, you don't want to burn it out. If you're doing the exact same exercise straight, 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row, you're not going to be able to lift anymore. You're going to be tired. You might hurt yourself. You're going to be too sore. You're not going to be able to walk, right? Or you're not going to be able to lift depending on what exercise you're doing. So it is imperative that you do a split. Now, this is just my advice. I'm not a professional. I'm not a personal trainer. But I do know what I'm doing. And I've been doing this for a minute now. So I'm just telling you what I do. And hopefully if you follow it, You'll be all right, right? Give yourself a break and give yourself grace. So now we're moving on to glutes, right? This is part of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday split. Now for glutes, I'm naming all of the ones that I do, but again, I don't do all of these in one day, okay? Now this is my girl. I love to hate her, but this is my girl. And we talking about hip thrust, none other than hip thrust. So there are one, two, three. There are 3 different variations. Okay, the first one, Smith machine. You set yourself up, and then see, this is a really tricky one because this is all about foot placement when you're doing the hip thrust. If you're doing a hip thrust on a Smith machine or a hip thrust machine, it really is about placement. If you're doing it on an actual hip thrust machine, it's a lot easier, right? Because the setup is structured so that you can really only target the glutes. If you do hip thrust on a Smith machine, if you're not careful, you'll wind up working your quads. And I learned that the hard way. Not that it's a bad thing, because again, I'm trying to get them tree trunks. You feel me? Like, I want thick, muscular thighs. Like, that's my goal. You know what I'm saying? I know people might say, oh, that's manly. I don't care. I like the way it looks because I've always been told I have nice legs. I have fit legs. I like that, right? I don't want flabby legs. So when I'm on the hip thrust, you have to make sure that you put your feet out enough, but not too far out. And the rule that I go by, and this is, somebody taught me this a long time ago and I never forgot it. When you're sitting flat on the floor, put your butt on the floor straight away, right? Put your feet out straight in front of you as if you're trying to do toe touches. Your knees are not up. Your legs are flat, right? Your feet are up, but your legs are straight out like this, okay? Bring your left leg up or bring your right leg up. It doesn't matter. Only one leg. Keep the other one straight out. Bring that heel of the foot, the leg that you're putting up, bring that heel to the knee of the straight leg. For instance, I'm going to show you an example. These are my 2 legs out. Yes, I'm double jointed. That's why my arms go like this, in case y'all didn't know. I'm double jointed. So here, we have this, right? This is my legs. I'm bringing my left leg up. You see? It's in the bend of my elbow. So picture this is my knee. I'm bringing it up right here. This is where my foot placement goes. This is where my heel is going to go for my hip thrust. And then from there, I do my thrust. If you do that, your foot placement is supposed to be accurate to where it will target the glute only and not touch the hamstring and not mess with your lower back. Now, back placement, very important again. When you're doing the hip thrust, we're only talking about on the Smith machine. The bench that you're leaning up against, or the box, whatever it is that you're leaning up against, if you're on a Smith machine, you got a bench behind you, 9 times out of 10. That line or that bench needs to be right underneath your shoulder bone, right? Your wing, your shoulder, whatever you want to call it. That blade, your shoulder blade. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank God. That's where that needs to be. If this is your blade, that bench needs to be right up underneath it, like just resting on it. If it's too high up, you're wrong, right? If it's too far down, you're wrong. It needs to be right underneath it, like right underneath it. Leg placement, shoulder blade placement. Good to go. Push up. Start off with the bar. If you've never done it before, I think most bars are between, I don't know, 20 to 40 pounds. I currently lift 260 on mine. So I have the bar, and then I have 245s, and then I got 225s, then I got 210s, and then depending on my mood, I'll go between 2.5s, or 2.5s. So I have all of that on each side. That is what I'm currently hip thrusting. The reason why I do so heavy is because I can do it. I can take it, and it doesn't bother me. But I did not start out that way. Do not get that twisted. Do not go out here and be like, oh, I'm going to start off with 260. You're going to fucking hurt yourself. Don't do it. It took me about a year to get to where I'm at right now. And I'm trying to get to 300. I'm trying to get to 300 by the end of the year. I might be able to do a little sooner than that. I set personal goals for myself. Feel me? I'm not competing with anybody else. I could care less what this girl is doing or what I don't care. It's me. I'm trying to get to 300. And I had a goal of doing it last year, but I wound up doing what? Hurting myself on squats, and I was laid up, couldn't do it. There was a lot of stuff going on last year. I freaking was in the hospital, or messed up my ankle, messed up my back went out, thought I was having a heart attack, thought I was done. Like, it was so many things that I had to just kind of like pause, and I couldn't work out. So yeah, so it took me a minute to get up to where I am right now, and I'm very happy with that. And even though the 260 sometimes feels light, I'm just kind of like staying there because, again, I don't want to hurt myself. I think I have a little bit of mental trauma from that. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to hurt it, because if I do it too much, I do start to feel something in my lower back. And when you feel that way, it's because your placement is wrong or you're just doing too much. So when I start to feel just a little smidge of anything, I stop. And I'm like, okay, we need to go to the next exercise, and then I'm good. But that's what I currently do on there. Now, I will say, even though I have a split of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, hip thrust is every day. Every time I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm doing hip thrust. And it's simply because that, to me, is my staple exercise. Everybody has a staple exercise that they do. For me, it's hip thrust. I'm going to do that hands down every time I have lower body day, period. The second machine that you can do for hip thrust is an actual hip thrust machine. I know, depending on what type of gym you're in, they have different variations. My gym, my hip thrust machine, I mean, it looks like a typical hip thrust machine. You have the same setup, you know what I'm saying? You're sitting back, kind of lean back at an angle, and then you have the lap bar or the lap band that goes across your lap, and the weight is in front of you, and so you're just lifting up that way. I know there are some to where it has the circular plates and it's on the side of you and you can lift it up that way. Mine is just the lap bar and the weight is in front of you. So, and I like that one because it does target, but it depends on if I'm in the mood to be in there, because it's in like this back area. I call it the dungeon, because that's where, like, you know how they in Planet Fitness, they have like the separate rooms, like 30-minute room or whatever, the circuit rooms. It's in there. And sometimes if I don't feel like being bothered by a whole bunch of people, I will go in there and I will do it. But if I'm feeling like, all right, I'm cool, I'm in my zone, whatever the case, I'll get on the Smith machine and I'll do it, you know, whatever. And low-key, I like the attention when girls be like, oh my God, because I'm doing so much. But that's different. That's a different story. You know, that's a different story. It's okay. It's good. It's motivation. It's not cocky. Don't get it twisted. It's not cocky. I'm not cocky with this at all. I'm happy. I'm motivated. I'm confident with it. Feel me? I put my work in to get to 260. So yeah, I want to show it off. Then we got split squats, right? Everybody hates split squats. I do too. There are two different ways to do split squats. One can target your quads and the other can target your glutes. So the split squat, you got the bench, right? The same like the bench press bench or the Smith machine bench. That bench is what I'm talking about, right? What you're going to do is you're going to sit at the edge of that bench. Like if you was on the chair, you come all the way to the edge. That is where you sit. You put both your feet straight out in front of you. Put your heel down, stand up. That is where your mark is. That is where you stand up from. I don't want to see, and I hate when I see this. People be doing this when they try to find their balance. They be hopping around to try to find it. We're not hopping. We're not doing that. I'm telling you how to do it, how to find where you're supposed to go. Sit down on that bench, pull your butt to the end of the bench, stretch your feet out, put them heels down, and stand up. That is where your mark is. That's as far as you can go, because why? That as far as your legs are going to reach, my dude. Like you can't go anymore. Don't try to go anymore because you're going to fall. So when you stand up, you kick one leg back and you have it laying on the bench and the other leg is out in front of you. If you're working glutes, I want you to tilt forward, come down into a 90-degree lunge. That is a split squat. Legs are split. One is behind you, resting on the bench. Not your foot up. This is your foot. Your foot needs to be flat. Flat, like this is the top of your foot. It needs to be flat on the bench like this, because it's behind you, right? The other leg is straight out in front of you, straight on the floor, not turned, not anything, straight. You're going down into a 90-degree lunge. If you're working glutes, you tilt forward, right? And you go down. If you're working quads, you stay straight up and you go down. Everything else is still the same. Glutes, tilt, quads, straight. Glutes, tilt, quads, straight. Okay? That is what you do. And currently, I do those with weights. I do them with 40-pound weights. So I'm doing 20 and 20 in each hand. If you can't do it, because it is a serious exercise, you know what I'm saying? So if you can't do it with weights, that's perfectly fine. Don't do it with weights. It's really, it don't matter. Don't do it with, just do it with body weight. You're fine. But same thing. Tilt for glutes, straight up and down for quads, right? Same thing. Then what are we doing? RDLs. This is my girl right here, right? RDLs are super tricky. They're so tricky because it's like if you do them wrong, you're going to feel them only in your back. I'm trying to find out the best way to describe an RDL. So you're going to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, right? For the most, yeah, I would say shoulder width apart. That's the best way to do it. Now, most people, when they do RDLs, right, there's two different ways, right? They'll take the weight or the bar and they'll just go straight over, straight down. If you keep your legs straight, that I think works like the back somehow. I don't do those kinds of RDLs. That's what like the weightlifters do, right? They just go straight like this. The RDLs that I do work this. They work the butt. So with that being said, you have your feet shoulder width apart, but you have a little bend in your leg, a little bend. And then you go and you stick your butt out. You're hinging your hip. You see how I'm not bending straight over. I'm not doing this. I'm hinging my butt. I'm sticking my butt out as if I'm closing a car door. That is the easiest way that it was taught to me. Imagine, you know, when your hands are full of groceries or you carrying the kids or you carrying whatever and you need to close a door, a car door, a house door. And what you do, you use your butt, you stick your butt out and you close that door. That is how you do an RDL. You're not bending straight over. You bend straight over, you're working your back. And I believe, like I said, that's what bodybuilders and stuff do. I don't do those kinds of RDLs. I do the ones for the glutes. So a slight bend. Slight bend. You don't want to bend too much because we're not doing a squat. A RDL is not a squat. Please don't get it confused. A RDL is not a squat. Slight bend. Hinge them hips out. The hips. Hinge them out like you're closing the door. And to stand up, hinge yourself back. You're pushing your hips back forward, right? That is how you do an RDL. And the easiest way for you to hold your weights, act like you're shaving. Let me move it down so you can see real quick. Act like you're shaving. That weight, you need to slide down your leg like this. Don't have it up here and you're going down because what's going to happen? You're going to get that pain right here. That's not what we want. Keep that weight tucked, whether you're using a bar, whether you're using a dumbbell, like this. You're shaving your leg down. Imagine you are shaving. Your hand needs to be as close to your legs as humanly possible. That is how you do an RDL. Okay, real quick. Camera about to die. Let's speed through this. So now we already talked about the reverse lunges. Now we're talking about cable kickback, right? Y'all know what the cable machine is. That's what I told you when you got the spins and you got the two, like, I don't know, what is it? 2 pillars and it's got the cables on it, right? So what you want to do is, you can do this 2 ways. Before I got the little ankle bracelets or whatever that goes around, I just took my sneakers off and I will put the contraption, and I'm going to show all of it. I think I ain't going to show it because sometimes it's hard to visualize what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have to show y'all, you know, all the exercises. And now I realize now that I forgot one of the exercises that I do for chest and back, and that's because I was talking about it and instead of showing y'all, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. Anyway, you put them, you put the handle around your ankle. You take your sneaker off, you put the handle around your ankle, and you just kick back like that. So you want to hold on to the machine. You want to, again, slight bend, right? And we're hinging. We're hinging, like I said before, slight bend in your, like, not your knees this time, but slight bend more so like in your back, right? You're sticking your butt out, using the cable machine, and you're just doing straight kickbacks. Now, flip side, you can do the same thing without the cable machine, right? You could just stand straight up. You could just stand straight up. You hold on to something, and you're kicking backwards. You're kicking back. Right? Now, if you kick outwards, it's working this side. If you kick back, it works the top part of the glute. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. If you bend it, you get a higher bend, you kick back. The point is to kick back. And this is all for the butt. That's what that's for. Next one. What are we doing? Okay. The abduction machine. Now, some people call this good girl, bad girl. And the reason why is because they're ignorant. No, I'm just playing. It's because it's a little, you know, it's a little slang. It's just a little slang. So, it's the machine where you sit down, your back is flat, you got your handles, right? And you have one set of pads that can be worn on the outside of your legs or on the inside. So, where if it's on the inside, you're pushing out, right? If the pads are on the inside of your thigh, you're pushing out. You're opening your legs like this, right? If the pads are on the outside, you're also pushing out, but they work 2 different areas. If the pads are on the outside, it's working your inner thigh. If the pads are on, no, I'm sorry, reverse that. If the pads are on the outside, you're working your outer, I guess your outer quads, that's what you can say. If the pads are on the inside, you're working the inner part of your thigh. The reason why they call them good girl, bad girl is because, again, you're spreading your legs. So, good girl, bad girl. Get it? That's what they call them now. And there's 2 different ways you can do it. More so, one will target, okay, so they both target your glutes, but depending on how you sit in it, it will hit it in a different way. So if you sit in the traditional way where you're sitting back and you're leaning back against like this, and you're just opening your legs, open and close, it is working your glute. It is, you will feel it. But if you do this little trick, you will feel it so much more. And you might hate me for it, but you're going to feel it so much more. Same setup. You're still sitting there, right? Just lean forward. Now, when you lean forward, you can do two things. I've done it both ways. You can lean forward and you can hold like this, right? Let me move back so you can see. You can lean forward, hold like this, and then you open your legs like that. Or you can take it a step further. You can lean all the way forward and hold onto the machine and then do open and close. You're going to feel it so much more in that upper glute. Oh my God, like it's going to burn. Currently on that one, I am at 120. Yeah, I'm on 120 on that one. And those, again, I just do until failure. I don't count any reps anymore that I do on any weights. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. The reason I don't count is because I felt like I wasn't really achieving the goals that I was trying to hit because I was counting. Because in my head, it was like, okay, once you hit 10, you stop. You don't grow by just stopping at a number, right? What they're saying now to do is when you get to the point where you feel like you can't go no more, that's when you're supposed to start counting. So if you've already done, like, let's just say you've already done like 10 or 11, right? We're just talking numbers. You don't really know what you've done. But when it gets to the point where you are burning and you feel like you can't go no more, and then you push a couple more out, that's when they say you're supposed to start counting. Again, I just don't. I just happen to look. I'll look up at the machine and I'll see the number that it displays, but I'm not actively counting in my head, if that makes sense. Because I just don't want to focus on how many reps I'm doing. Because then I'll get to the point where I'm like, oh, I did 10 this time, but today I could only do 8. And then I start feeling bad. Feel me? And I start like competing with myself. And I don't want to do that every single time. Sometimes I'll, whatever. But I don't always want to do that. So I don't count reps. I will count sets. So it's like, all right, this is my first set. This is my second go round. This is me. I have my pause. I have my break. Now I'm doing this one here. But I will not count reps because I don't want to get into that cycle. I just do it until it hurts and I can't do it, and then I stop. But I stop well enough to where I know I'm not hurting myself. Don't get those two twisted. I'm not going crazy. And then I think there's one more, leg press. So I feel like the leg press is kind of like the leg extension machine in my opinion, but it's just you're laying down in two different ways. So I think it targets the muscles separately. But you're sitting kind of like the machine is on the floor and you're tilted back and you're pushing your feet up to the sky, right? You're pushing your feet up to the sky, and it depends on where your placement is as to what you're going to hit. Kind of like when you're doing the, a hack squat machine. So if you're laying back and you're pushing your feet up to the sky, if your feet are more towards the top of the plate, again, you're working your glutes because the muscle is it's like it's elongated more. So you're working that back part, which would be the glute. If your legs are down more, it's shortened. So you're going to be working the back of that leg, which is your hammies, your hamstrings, and maybe like the bottom, that little cuff underneath where the glute is at. That's what you're going to be working. So those are my leg. I'm trying to really think and see if I forgot any, but I feel like I got them all. I feel like I forgot them all. If I did, I will put them in the description box. Everyone that I talked about, I'm already going to put those in the description box so that you guys can look it up. You can see what exercises I'm talking about. And as always, if you really want to see me do them before I film the video, because I am going to do it, I just got to figure out what day I want to go to the gym and bring my camera and bring my light and bring all that good stuff so that I can film this for y'all. But if y'all want to see it beforehand, let me know and I will absolutely do it. I have no problem doing it. And I think that's it. I think I got all of them in there. Today was, what's today? Today's Tuesday. Oh, today was chest and back day again. Tomorrow I got legs. I ain't gonna hold you. Before, it used to be legs and glutes used to be my favorite day because I feel like that's like a push day. Like I can go, because again, I can go harder when I'm working my lower body. Like I can really go there. With my chest and my back or bicep day, tries, all that stuff, I have to go a little bit, softer because I'm less strong on the upper body. I'm still strong. Don't get it twisted. I'm still strong, but I'm just less strong. And now it's kind of turning into like, chest day is kind of like, chest day and maybe bicep day. So maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays are kind of turning into like my favorite because I like to see my muscles move in the mirror. I'm one of those, right? I'm definitely one of those. It's not that I need the validation from anybody else. I could care less about that. I like seeing them move. So when I do my tricep pulls and I see my tricep muscle going up and down, or when I'm doing my bicep curls, hammer curls, preacher curls, whichever ones I'm doing, and I see the muscles, man, stop playing. I love seeing my muscles move. And I feel like you need that. That is motivation for you to keep going, right? It's letting you know that, hey, I'm doing this right. I'm doing this correctly. I'm not just in the gym just killing myself for no reason. You want to see results. That's the whole point of going to the gym. So when you see people in the mirror and they flexing, leave them alone. Don't talk about them. Don't film them and put them on social media and say that they all do it. Mind your business, Mind your business. We looking at our goals. You busy filming us and we getting our goals, right? Mind your business and do you. Anyway, I love y'all as always. I am going to edit this video, get it out tonight. I'm gonna go cook and I'm gonna go chill. And I'm gonna see y'all in my next video. I probably will have different hair because I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna braid it again in a few days. Nails are still going strong. I think I showed y'all this set. I've had these on maybe 2 weeks now. It's a little red set. Kind of looks like Valentine's Day set, but you know, it's not. It's just, it was just red. Red is my favorite color, so that's what we got. And that's about it. I love you. I love you. I love you. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'm gonna see y'all later. Bye. I'm sorry. I'm very hype. I'm very, like I said, I got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm kind of happy, and I'm talking faster than my brain is processing it. But it's okay because y'all understand what I'm saying. I'll talk to you later. Bye.